Welcome back to the dojo, everybody. This is True Talk with TRUMOTION, where a couple of guys talk about how to make the world a better place. Wow. Hopefully make your little day a little bit better in the process. That was a really rough opening, but
that's okay.
Whatever.
Do you want to keep it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, we're keeping it. You're seeing it.
You're seeing it, how sometimes words can be hard.
Sometimes they can.
They can be really hard, but you know what? You just keep working at them, and it is not super early, but it is early. So apparently my brain's still trying to warm up to the day ahead of us. So, but how's your week been this week?
It's been all right.
Yeah?
Yeah. Been a week.
Yeah, it has been a week. That's for sure. It's been a busy one. Had Memorial Day on Monday.
That's right.
That's always a fun but sobering holiday, in my opinion. It's great to, have the ability to spend time with family, but, you really want to make sure that we understand why we're having this holiday and all that stuff, because a lot of people paid that ultimate price for us to have a barbecue on Monday or choose to do whatever you want on Monday. So I always have a very sobering feeling when it comes to Memorial Day. I really enjoy it. But at the same time, it's also pretty sad at the same time. So for any of the viewers that have lost service members in the ultimate sacrifice for the freedoms that we have, like I can't say that I understand what you're going through or how it was, but we really appreciate it. So I for one will never take for granted that fact. So, but that's just my little spiel on Memorial Day, I guess you could say. But But it's been a pretty standard week for you. Everything's been good. Yeah. Dojo's been good. We have a test coming up, so
by the time they're seeing
this,
listening to this,
and listening to this, we should have some new ranks in the dojo.
Yeah.
We've got Tobin going for black belt.
Yeah.
Just going for brown belt.
Big one.
Bunch of people going for advanced ranks as well. We're gonna have a pretty big test. So I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be interesting. It's supposed to be really hot from Utah standards. I mean, I consider it hot. It's like supposed to be 97, 96. Whew, man, that encompassing a test with like 80 bodies in the dojo.
The greenhouse.
Yeah, it's going to smell. It's going to be sweaty. You're going to think we're in Florida. So, with the smell and everything.
Wow.
But yeah, so it should be fun. Should be a good time. Really looking forward to it. And yeah, now we're kind of getting into the meat of just beginning summer. So we got a whole bunch of summer events coming up and should be a good time. But let's move this program right along and let's go on to our Liam's Facts. All right, last week's question is, where did you get the term thagomizer from the spikes on the end of a stegosaurus?
That's right.
Apparently, they got the name from a Far Side comic whose illustrator was Thag Simons.
Whoa! So that's the
victim. That is
the
victim
in the Far Side by Gary Larson.
Yep. The illustrator, his name was Thag Simons.
Oh, wow.
So they the scientific community decided to keep that and call them thagomizers.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, I had zero idea about that. If any of you guys knew that question,
we did not get anybody answering this.
You're a big nerd, which is great because we need those.
You like comics, and that's okay.
But moving on to this week's question, it is brought to you by our good friend Danny Hong. He is in Japan with his family. He sent over this question because he was there, so he knows the answer.
First-hand experience.
It is, when was the first cup of noodles made? He sent me a picture of the noodle museum in Japan. I didn't think there would be such a thing, and they had like all the packages and various things. So, but when was the first cup of noodles made?
Oh, wow.
That is your question for this week.
I thought they always came in cups.
I would assume so. Cups or bowls.
Yeah.
I mean, well, technically ramen comes in a bag.
Yeah.
So, who knows? But let us know if you know the answer to that question. And if you do, make sure you comment in the comments down below or send us an email at TrueTalkTuesdays@gmail.com. And another thing, make sure you like and share the show.
There we go.
We want to make sure we spread this message of building better people and making the world a better place to as many people as we can. So moving right along to our top 5. All right, this week's top 5 is an interesting one because I've watched them. It's movie themed, top 5, but it's not one that I'm like way into, a genre I'm way into, which is interesting coming from Utah.
Really?
So it is top 5 Westerns.
Top 5
Westerns. Westerns.
Like all the movies that were filmed here.
Not necessarily here, but...
A lot of them are filmed here.
They are. A lot of them are filmed here. In fact, the new Thunderbolts movie, there was a portion of that movie that was filmed in Green River.
Whoa.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Didn't know that either.
So we had Avengers in Utah.
There were Avengers in Utah.
So,
interesting.
What do you got for your top 5?
Okay. My list is probably going to be pretty similar to your list, but I've got a few different ones.
Yeah.
I've got the third Back to the Future.
Oh, yeah.
That's a fun one.
I completely forgot about that one. That's a good one.
They stretched their genre.
They did.
Sci-fi comedy to Western sci-fi comedy.
Now, is it like back to the future?
It's from the future to the past.
Yes. Yeah.
It's forward to the past, I think.
Yeah.
I think
future
that's the
to the
title.
back.
Future to the back.
Future to the back.
Yes. Then I have A Million Ways to Die in the West.
That was a funny one.
That's so funny.
That's a Seth MacFarlane one, right?
Seth MacFarlane one.
With the mustache.
Yeah.
Yep, that's a funny one.
The haberdashery and
stuff.
stuff.
With Liam Neeson.
Yep.
That's a good one.
That's a funny one.
Yep. What
then
else?
I have Three Amigos.
Three Amigos.
That's a good one.
Sensing a theme with your Westerns.
I like comedy Westerns, but I also like gritty Westerns.
Yeah.
So I like the old Lone Ranger.
Okay.
That first scene when all his brothers got killed. That one stuck with me for a while. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, because you got all brothers too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it makes sense why that one.
But it's like, brothers in arms, brothers in flesh.
Brothers and.
So that one's pretty good. I didn't see the remake with Johnny Depp.
It was all right, but it wasn't great. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't like, oh my gosh, I got it. It was a little weird. I mean, he got a lot of backlash for playing Tonto. But it's not like he cast himself,
right?
So I don't know.
I've seen a lot of Westerns, like a lot of the John Waynes I've seen, but they all get grouped together, right?
Yeah.
But a few others that stand out. I like the. Oh man. I like the movie Tombstone.
Yep,
Tombstone's Wyatt
great.
Earp.
Yep,
that one's a good one.
Can be your Huckleberry.
That one's a good one.
Did you know the origin of that saying?
What?
Huckleberry?
No.
Apparently, it has something to do with being a pallbearer. So when he says "I'll be your Huckleberry," basically he means I'll carry your casket.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, that's
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that for a long time either, and then all of a sudden, I saw a video about the origins of that phrase, and apparently that it has some I can't remember exactly what, so forgive me, but it has something to do with correlating with being a pallbearer. So when he says I'll be your Huckleberry, basically he's like, I'll carry your casket. And that makes that scene even more like, oh damn, like even more like impactful. Yeah, I agree.
Couple honorable mentions are going to be Head East, which is a Western pioneer one, but they're actually just trying to go back east. That was kind of funny. That John Candy's in there. That one's
yeah.
One. And then I've got Ridiculous Six.
Yeah,
that one's a funny one.
I like that one too. That one's funny.
And then Magnificent Seven's a good one.
Yep.
I don't know if they've made it a few times, but
it hasn't been
like the one where they don't all survive.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's in all of them or
at least the newest one that. Well, a couple of them survive. Spoiler alert.
Oh man,
a couple of them survive in the new one.
That one's pretty impactful. Like Western movies are pretty impactful because you get to see like just how desperate things were in the West.
Yeah, they're not for the weak-hearted. That's for sure. I mean, they had to endure a lot of pain and suffering. So that's a good list. Any other honorable mentions?
Nope.
All right. So my honorable mentions, I've got The Ridiculous Six, Django Unchained. It's with the D is silent. That's a good movie. It's a little uncomfortable sometimes with the amount of words they tend to drop in one scene. You're like, okay. Granted, it's period accurate, so I mean, it's not like
don't get mad at them. They're just they're replaying history.
Yeah. Shanghai Noon.
Yeah.
That was a good honorable mention. Jackie Chan in a Western. John Wayne. John Wayne. That's a horrible cowboy name. That's always that's always a funny scene. But I've got like you, I've got the Three Amigos. I've got Tombstone. I've got the Magnificent Seven. The Hateful Eight.
Oh wow.
It's another Quentin Tarantino Western movie. That one's pretty good. It's interesting because the majority of the movie is in like one room. So, yeah, it's pretty good. The dialogue's pretty good. The suspense is pretty good. And then I've also got Blazing Saddles.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
The movie that cannot be made today.
I've seen that movie.
Yeah.
It's on the honorable mention list.
Yeah.
Another one I forgot to mention that I've seen multiple times is Maverick.
Oh yeah, the
riverboat.
Riverboat gambling.
That one's a fun one.
That every time I hear of like riverboat gambling, I think of Step Brothers.
Yeah.
We could go riverboat gambling. Dale, when have we ever gone riverboat gambling? So that's a good one. I'm trying to think of what other Westerns are out there. I never watched a whole lot of them growing up. My dad liked Westerns. Like, honestly, any John Wayne movie is really good. Like Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, Unforgiven.
Do you know they call The Mandalorian a space Western?
I can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see it. Because he does kind of have that, like...
all the dusty towns and stuff. Walks in, there's trouble, walks out.
He's like a sheriff, almost. Does that quick draw. Yeah, I could definitely see The Mandalorian being like a space Western.
It's interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you think about that, viewers and listeners? What do you think about that?
What do you think? The Mandalorian would be considered a Western? A futuristic Western? There was also another one. It was called like Space Cowboys. No, Space Pirates.
Space Pirates.
Space Pirates. Never mind, not Space Cowboys.
And then there was Westworld, like the whole synth art robot human thing. Have you seen that?
Yeah, that was interesting.
That was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
It wasn't technically a movie. There is a Westworld movie though, but that's so old.
Yeah, that was a series.
Yeah, the one on HBO is a series.
Yeah, that one was weird. It was very interesting.
It was cool, and then it got like, whoa, what's happening?
Yeah, it messed with your sense of reality for sure.
Who's a synth and who's not?
Yeah, exactly. So the first episode, you don't know any of that stuff, and all of a sudden you're like,
they just shot that guy.
What is going on? So yeah, that's weird, but it's pretty good. Like, cool concept.
Yeah.
So, but let us know what your favorite top 5 is, especially when it comes to Westerns. Here in Utah, we have a lot of classic like Western scenery, especially in southern Utah. So it's a pretty big hotbed for Western movies.
For all those filmmakers.
Yeah, Moab's a pretty big Western town. Apparently, when we went there for our first TRUMOTION trip, there's a hotel in Moab where John Wayne basically bought the entire top floor, and he would live there most of the year because he was always filming movies out there.
Wow.
Yeah. So if you want to get some
some cool facts,
history about Western movies and John Wayne, go to Moab, Utah. So I think we're actually going to try to go there again this year, hopefully like in September, which if it is, our September's so stupid busy. It's getting nuts. So I'm hoping I can even go. But moving on to our Ask a Sensei. First question, and I've got to read it because I can't remember all the questions, is you have to go back to medieval times and you can only take one object from our time. What object would it be?
What?
Yes.
Let's go back to medieval times, the place or the period?
The period, not the restaurant.
Oh, okay.
So if it was the restaurant, and I'd take a
my
fork.
appetite,
Take a fork. So if you've never been to medieval times, they have no utensils, and you can eat a lot of food there.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. And you get entertainment
Yeah,
too.
so you get some fun stuff.
It is fun. In fact, one of our students used to be one of the stunt performers in medieval times.
Very cool.
Yeah,
Very cool.
absolutely. But what object would you take
Mm.
back to the Dark Ages?
Well, you have to think about this because people who just say cell phone or laptop, there was no network
and
or
you
power for
and you
that.
couldn't recharge it.
For that,
Yeah, I wouldn't take one of those.
You couldn't take one of those. It would be useless.
Yeah, I don't think I would take technology.
That's the thing is like a lot of people who would say, "Oh, I'd bring technology to the cave people." Do you know how this technology is made?
Yeah, it's made from things in the sky.
Yeah.
So without satellites, it no work.
That being said, though, you need to bring something cool, but not too cool, or else they'd call you a witch and they burn you.
Yeah, possibly. It depends on how effective your thing is.
Probably.
It could be like Ash from Evil Dead. This is my boomstick.
Boomstick.
Bring a gun with you.
I don't really know what I'd take. What would you take?
That's an interesting question because I would probably take like either some sort of firearm.
A gun?
Yeah, I'd take a gun.
They had guns back then.
Not in medieval times. Maybe
late medieval times they started getting guns. That's why castles became obsolete, because cannons could just blow holes in walls.
Yeah, but then I would show them how to make them small and portable.
Oh.
Yeah, because then they could already recreate the gunpowder, because they already kind of semi
That's
have
witchcraft.
an idea. No,
Witchcraft.
especially if it's already around.
Forsooth, that's witchcraft.
I'd be like, no, the Chinese people are already doing
Who's
it.
that? Those are witches.
Witches, no. I would definitely think it like some sort of firearm or even modern body armor.
What?
Yeah. So it's
What?
like easy. It's a lot more flexible, like soft body armor.
I would take medicine. I would take all the medicine I have.
Now you're a witch.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Brewing potions.
No, these are pills. They have little crosses on them. They're holy.
Yeah, that's all you got to do. Is put a cross on
There
it,
it
and then
is.
all of a sudden
There it is. They believe it.
it's holy pills.
That's right.
But then would they want to try to do more of that because then God saved you?
That's right.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Technically, yeah.
You didn't say the outcome had to be good.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but I definitely would think like either some sort of medicine, whether it be bandages or the ability like stitching type stuff.
Just like knowledge.
Yeah, just knowledge with you that won't get you burned for being a witch, but also would be effective, and then they could take it on and hopefully improve on it. So when you get back to your time,
Wait, you're coming back?
I don't know. It doesn't say, but
Is this like the butterfly effect? So you go back and you do something, and then maybe it influences
that
the
was
world?
like that should be another top 5 is top 5 like time travel movies.
There we go.
Yeah. Have you ever seen the movie Timeline?
No.
That's a good one. It's with Paul Walker.
I've seen Time Traveler. I've seen Back to the Future.
It's got Gerard Butler in it too
Oh.
before he blew up. And they go back to medieval times and yeah, all the effects from it.
Hope they brought their appetite.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I definitely the question does not state if we come back.
No.
I'm assuming
I assume.
don't because
I
it
assume
doesn't
you're
say.
making a new life there.
Yeah, I agree. So I would definitely want to think some sort of medicine or some sort of weaponry.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
So, or maybe even like a lighter.
A lighter. Whoa.
Fire, instant.
Whoa.
Flint and steel.
There we go. Kids will get
They
that
don't even
reference.
have flint and steel. I mean, 2 sticks. Yeah. Did you
Fire
know,
bow.
Yeah. Did you know that Chuck Norris can start a fire by rubbing 2 ice cubes together?
Wow.
I know.
That's
It's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I definitely think in terms of bringing something back, I would not bring like modern technology.
I'd bring gold.
back.
I'd bring a crown.
Yeah, that would work too. Because if you
pretty
have the most money, you're the king.
That's right.
So, yeah, but like a computer or a cell phone, there's no way to charge it. There's no way to use it because there's no network. So, yeah, I wouldn't necessarily bring something like that. I'd bring something that would help defend myself or help heal myself. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Or, man, even like farming tools, like modern farming tools, that could be a game changer. Then you could eat better. Yeah. But let us know what you think you would bring back with you, if it would be something like we just talked about, or if it's
Would you be considered a witch?
Yeah, I definitely think whatever you choose to do, you'd be a witch.
That's right.
And you'd have to be fighting for your life.
That's right.
So, especially men and women, I am sorry. If you brought back something, you'd definitely be labeled as a witch. It's not fair, but that's what it was. So, but let's move on to our next question. Okay, question number 2. I think this is a very interesting one. So let's see what we can make of this. If you could come up with a college course that had to be taught in school, in college, in universities, what would it be?
I'm pissed because I've heard that my ideal college course is actually a college course.
Really?
It's a course in piratology that I learned this week from Richard.
Richard said that there's a pirate course. Oh, that's right.
You can get your degree in piratology.
Yep, that's right. He did say that.
And now here's the thing. It's probably the historical study of pirates. So it's like, yeah, you can get a job with that teaching or something.
Yeah.
But what if you actually like got a course in living and performing the duties of historical pirates?
That'd be interesting. You might be labeled as a witch.
Yeah, I know. Be labeled as a pirate, branded as a pirate, actually.
Yeah, a pirate branded.
What if they taught you how to like swab the poop deck? What if they taught you how to like rig the main mast? What if they told you how to belay orders? Do you know what those words mean?
Yeah, rig put up the sails. Yeah. The belay orders is like helping people come down with the ropes.
Close.
Yeah. Oh wait, belay is I'm thinking of the rock climbing term.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's
where they
hold it, belay orders, hold the orders.
Stop. Yeah. Belay. Well, they do that
on
belay. Belay. No, belay that order.
Belay that.
Yeah.
Me hearty.
I would be more interested in terms of like also modern piracy.
Because they're not cool. They're
not as cool as like historical.
Their ships
pirates.
are not as good. And if those modern pirates collect a modern Navy vessel,
yeah, that'd be dangerous.
Then they can be cool pirates. But because they're coming up on little rafts,
they're really not coming up on ships. It's rafts.
They come up to take the ship over to get ransom.
Yeah.
So it's their strategy needs some work.
Yes, for sure.
And then the ships, based on certain laws, they can't shoot at these little pirates, so they use water guns.
Seriously?
So they hit them with these high-powered hoses to like push their boats away because they're tiny boats.
They can't shoot at them?
You're not allowed. I don't know. There's some sort of code or some sort of law that the Navy. It's like when someone comes in to rob your store, it's like everything's insured.
Oh.
So it's like, oh, don't shoot at them. We don't want legal.
Would.
I know.
Hey,
that's why modern pirates and modern piracy conflicts are not good.
Yeah.
See, I just gave you a free lesson in piratology.
Exactly. If a pirate comes on my boat, I'm shooting you. Sorry.
You think so?
I would want to.
You want to?
Yeah. Would I be allowed to? Apparently not.
Apparently not.
Like, hey, let this person come in and take all your stuff, but don't worry, it'll be insured.
They can't even take your stuff. They just occupy your ship until they get paid to get off.
Yeah.
Or they try to navigate the ship somewhere else.
Yeah, because they really can't take it
That's
off the
what
ship.
that whole I'm the captain now kind of movie. I forget. Captain.
No, I'm Captain Phillips.
Captain Phillips.
There you go. Captain Phillips.
That's
another top 5. It's top 5 pirate movies.
That's not on my list.
No.
I can't even remember the name.
Yeah, I definitely not on my list either.
There we go.
But yeah,
every pirate movie should have pirates in the name. That's how you know.
I agree. That is true.
Every good one.
Is this a pirate movie? Is there a pirate in the title?
Or it has beard in the name.
Or Cutthroat Island. That was a good one.
Maybe.
I like that one.
Okay.
Gina Davis.
Okay.
Yeah.
We can have separate opinions. That's okay.
You don't like Cutthroat
I've not seen it.
Oh, really? It's a pirate movie.
Okay.
She's a female captain pirate.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fun too.
Yeah. They did
have those. There were a few of those.
Apparently one of the most ruthless pirates in history.
They are more ruthless.
Yeah.
The men, they definitely died a lot more.
Yeah.
The women
and I think
lived
she was
a lot more.
An Asian pirate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think that's what she really was.
See, that's the part of piracy that doesn't get talked about. Everyone likes the golden era, golden age of piracy, which is in the Atlantic and the Caribbean.
Yeah, between Britain
But the
and the
most
Americas.
successful pirates were Asian pirates
Yeah.
and Ottoman pirates. Like the Barbary Corsairs, they would raid Spain and Italy, and they would take prisoners, slaves, white people,
Uh-huh.
and they bring them back.
Interesting. Would you consider Vikings pirates?
Vikings were kind of Norse pirates, except for
Yeah.
they would go in, they would just raid lands.
Yeah.
Like their ships were made just for raiding coasts and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, they
They
wouldn't.
wouldn't find another ship and take their stuff.
No, that's correct. Yeah, they would not try to engage in maritime warfare.
Now, if you see the anime Vinland Saga, there's a lot of ship to ship fighting. That's
Is
pretty
there?
cool. Yeah,
I still need to watch that.
that's a good one.
Yeah, you told us about that
Pretty gritty.
couple episodes ago. Yeah, my course, that would be a really fun course to take, by the way.
Okay,
That'd be
thank you,
fun.
thank you.
My course would be common sense.
Common sense.
Yeah, common sense 101.
And then it's a prerequisite to common dollars.
Yeah. No,
Oh.
I just think that there is such a lack of like actual awareness going around that it's like, okay, we need a dose of reality.
Well, a
So-
course that teaches what, as an adult, what you're expected to know, what you're expected to do.
Mm-hmm.
Common sense things. Like, hey, when you get a job, you're going to get this much money taken out for taxes.
Yeah.
You know,
Or
understand taxes.
even a taxes course.
Yeah.
I mean, because nobody understands
Taxes for the consumer 101.
Yes, exactly.
It's like, this is
Or-
how you can navigate that. These are all the tax loopholes you can use
Mhm.
per this year.
I agree. I almost think I've thought this for so long, especially with the NIL money that's in college sports now.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you are going to take money as a college athlete, which I think college athletes should be paid because of the amount of money they generate for the school uses their likeness in promotions, they sell their jerseys, all that stuff. So I do think college athletes need to be paid. But the amount of money that they're getting paid is getting a little ridiculous, to be quite honest with you. Like, for instance, Shedeur Sanders. He literally took a pay cut to play professional football. Now, granted, it was where he was drafted. When you're drafted in the 5th round, you get like not as good a deal as if you're drafted in the 1st round.
Right.
So, I mean, if he was drafted in the 1st round, he definitely would not have taken a pay cut. But I think he was pulling in like $4 to $5 million a year in Colorado. Now he's making like 1.5. I mean, he's still doing fine.
Yeah.
I'm not crying for Shedeur, but I think if athletes or anybody that takes money while they're in school needs to take like a economics class or an investment course or like how to manage your finances. Because a lot of times, a lot of these athletes don't have any money growing up or very little money growing up. And then all of a sudden they get a ton of money
And it's like,
and they don't know what to
I
do
can
with it.
buy everything.
Exactly. And I don't blame them because nobody told them. It's like, it's not their fault because they did not know. So it's like the people around them should be ashamed because they're not educating and teaching these young athletes on what to do with their money.
Right.
Like I remember Shaquille O'Neal had a famous story
We've heard, that
Yeah.
one's a good one.
where he spent like all his money in like one day and he didn't realize it
Yeah.
because he didn't take into account taxes.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't take into account management fees. He didn't take into account all these other fees. Then luckily he had somebody at the bank that was looking out for him, was like, called him in and was like, hey, like all your money's gone. And he was like, what are you talking about? And ever since then, he's all like, okay. And he has been working to maintain and build his wealth, which good for him. Like, good for you, Shaq. Way to go.
Yeah. Good job,
But,
Shaq.
Yeah. He's definitely an example to, if you're an athlete, a young athlete, follow his example. And it's crazy the amount of like, it's the stats for athletes after they retire that go broke. And it's like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
You had like $100 million. How are you broke? Well, when your lifestyle equates to $50,000 a month,
When it's party and stuff like that.
and most of the time they're spending money on their like entourage,
Yeah.
their friends, their family. It's like the second you get money, this third cousin that you met once at a party's hitting you up for money,
Hey,
and it's
bro.
like, seriously, stop. Yeah. But I would teach common sense for sure.
Common sense.
And athletes, I think it should be a requirement to take like some sort of financial literacy class where it's like investments or what to
Interesting.
do with your money.
Okay.
But
I think practicality
Yeah. Like, hey, this is how you change your tire. Hey,
for real.
this is how you like hang up a shelf. Or, and I'm talking to men on this one most of the time, this is how you follow directions.
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
Yeah,
man.
sorry. I'm not talking in terms
That's
of like if someone gives you an order, but let's be honest, when we get something to put together, do you look at the instructions?
you don't need to. I
No,
know how to do it.
for the most part.
I
Or if you
watch
don't know
YouTube
how to do it, I
videos.
was going to say YouTube will tell you. So, but yes, I think learning how to follow directions, learning how to communicate effectively.
How to perform a citizen's arrest, all those things.
Yeah,
And common
exactly.
sense.
Common Sense 101
Yeah.
should be a course.
There we go.
I majored in common sense. Then, do you
Not
know
so
how funny?
common, is it?
No, that would be great. I would. Have you seen those videos of people talking about the degrees they've just gotten?
Yeah.
It's it's
You could
terrible.
write in your own name for a degree.
Yeah, no. But use something practical and like common sense. They have communication degrees, but nobody knows how to communicate.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get it. But that's a topic for another day, I guess. But I would say definitely Common Sense 101. I like your pirate. Apparently, it is a degree now, or they should have. Apparently, there are ninja classes in
Yeah, there's
Japan.
ninja classes.
Yeah,
There's a ninja university.
I saw
Ninja U.
Ninja U in you. So I saw a funny meme of some professor going up to a student and be like, "I didn't see you in class the other day. Good job."
Thank you, Sensei.
Totally get a degree. I majored in ninja.
I didn't see you all week.
Yes.
Good job.
Good job. Way to go.
Ah,
Have you seen that Onion News clip where it's like the annual
Ninja Parade,
and it's just
yes.
people on the side of the road and there's nothing in the
There's nothing in the
middle?
middle.
It's like
But
we
I
had,
know they were there because all the bags they were filled with candy.
yep, and there were only 3 fatalities. But yes, good questions, good questions. But moving on to our third question. You have magically received $1 million, but you have to spend it in 24 hours. What's your spending plan?
I'm going to spend it all in the stock market.
All in the stock market?
Mm-hmm.
Any particular stocks?
Well, you get a 10% over return over year with Dow Jones
Uh-huh.
and S&P. Just picking those.
Just doing those.
Picking those is a pretty good because 10% of $1 million is $100,000.
It's pretty. You can live
And if
off
you
of
can
that.
withdraw that every year, that's pretty good.
Yeah, you can definitely live off of that. My initial gut
But that's the
reaction.
dumb answer, Go ahead.
No,
I'll give my fun answer later.
no, that's a very that makes a lot of sense.
That's the common sense answer.
That's
But
a common sense answer if we're going to go back to the last
I know.
question. My initial gut reaction is like, oh, I'd buy a house.
Right.
But you wouldn't be able to get the paperwork and everything
In
done in
24
time,
hours.
done in 24 hours. So I was like, damn it, I couldn't do that.
Cash now. Cash now.
Be like, can I just like drop $1 million on your table? No, they typically don't do that.
That's the thing with buying houses is they take a long time.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like that blew that answer right out of the
That's a
launcher.
good answer too.
Yeah, because like you can't go wrong with property in a
Well, if
home.
I magically receive the money, why don't you magically sign the papers?
Exactly. Stupid. But I would do some sort of investment like stocks or, just reinvest it back in the dojo.
Oh, yeah.
Because again, another
How would
gut
you spend
reaction.
that much money on the dojo? What would you do?
Definitely upgrade everything.
Everything gets upgraded. Just buy
Yes.
another.
Yep.
Two is one.
Yeah, 2 is 1, 1 is none.
Mhm.
I would probably look at like a remodel. Ideally, it would be like I want to buy a building, but again, you can't necessarily buy a building in 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Even though you're like, I can pay you cash now, just sign the paperwork. But that's what I'd probably do. I'd probably reinvest it in the stock market, in the dojo. Or, yeah, you're just like, okay, I'm going to buy all the supplies for the next 5 years or whatever. And it's like, okay, that's reinvesting back into the dojo. Like upgrade all the weights, upgrade all the bags, upgrade all the mats.
Mm-hmm.
Unnecessarily buy stuff to put places and
Now, what if here's a loophole?
okay.
You use your $1 million to buy Visa gift cards. And then you can keep those for as long as you want.
That's not a bad answer. So, or you can buy one Visa gift card, and technically
I didn't
you,
know they could go up to that high,
I
but
don't know,
maybe
but you've spent it.
you've spent it. That qualifies.
Exactly. That is,
Then you can trade and you can barter. It'd be like,
yep.
hey, this has $1 million on it.
Hey, I have $100,000 gift card. Do you want it?
I just
I'll
need.
trade you this for that. Then
That's
we go
right.
back to the barter system.
That's right.
So
You know, money is just the substitute for people who don't have skills to barter with. So
this is true. And then you meet people that have money and have barter skills.
that's
And you're
right.
like, ugh,
Like, oh,
just pay it. No.
no, I
Like-
want a deal.
Yes, exactly. And that's also a cultural thing too. I've noticed that.
That and cutting in line and things like that. Or
Yeah, I've noticed that with certain people, sometimes they come in and it's like they try to haggle with you.
yeah, it's like
And it's like, okay, well, that's what they're kind of accustomed to. And it's like, for a long time, I would take it personal, be like, just, this is the price. Don't try to negotiate with me. This is not a negotiating thing. But that's just how the system we've been brought up in.
yeah, it's like just accept it. Accept
Yeah.
the price.
Accept the price. But yeah, I agree with your like reinvested in the stock market, the S&P.
Now, that might take I don't know if I could do it all in 24 hours. That's the thing.
Maybe you do half and then half somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get a lot of flags on your account if you just dump that much money in without any paperwork or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, interestingly enough, if you deposit over, I believe, 10,000 or more in cash, you have to fill out all this paperwork at the bank. So it's really annoying.
Yeah. You
So
can thank those people who were money laundering
yeah.
for all that paperwork.
Yeah. Or maybe
Come
I buy a
on.
laundromat.
Hey.
Actual money laundering.
Hey.
There you go. Yeah. So if you know somebody that's got lots of money and they own a laundromat, they're probably drug dealers. Just saying. So, or you buy art.
Yeah. There you go.
That's the modern version of money laundering.
That's the socially acceptable version
Yeah.
of money laundering.
Because there's no standard pricing in art.
Right. It's
totally subjective.
yeah. Someone sold an invisible statue for $5,000.
I saw that.
Yeah.
And the dude's like miming around it. And it's like, somebody seriously bought that for $5,000.
Yeah. Don't drop it.
Yeah.
It might
pretty
break.
heavy. It's pretty heavy.
It might break.
Be careful. So, yeah. But what would you do if you magically had $1 million just magically appeared in your bank account? How would you spend it? And you only have 24 hours. And if you don't spend it in 24 hours, it's gone. That's the catch. So, but let's move on with our program to our fight scene. This week's fight scene, you could almost say that this was an actual thing, but the characters are different, even though the actors are kind of the same in a certain movie. Okay. That being said, we have Luke Hobbs from the Fast and the Furious franchise, played by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson,
Right.
versus the Transporter,
The Transporter.
played by Jason Statham.
Oh, wow.
Now, Jason Statham and The Rock have fought each other in a movie, Hobbs and Shaw, from the Fast and Furious universe. But it's not Shaw that he's fighting. It's Frank something from I can't remember his last name, from the Transporter. We'll just call him the Transporter.
Yeah.
Okay. They both can drive. They both can fight. They both have a particular set of skills. So let's say round one is on Hobbs's home turf in the quote unquote, even though they're both technically in the same realm.
They're in Earth.
They're on Earth, but we have it in the Fast and the Furious universe versus the Transporter universe.
Oh,
So,
wow.
who you got? Hobbs or the Transporter, round one, Fast and Furious universe?
This is tough. They're too similar.
They're very, very similar.
They're very similar.
Yeah.
So I don't think it matters.
I don't think home field or like anything like that really matters in this case. Well, okay, let's rephrase. Let's just say round one, they're in a car.
Round one's in a car.
Round one, they're both have their own set, like their own car.
It's a race.
So it's like a race.
It's a racing.
Yeah, let's say it's a race.
4 cars. That depends.
So, transporter usually drives an Audi.
Yes.
Okay, so let's say he drives.
Those are pretty fast. They cut me off all the time.
Yeah, stupid Audis.
Stupid Audis.
But he's not in a sports car, like an Audi R8, because he transports people.
He's in a nondescript,
Yeah,
easily to blend in nice car.
Yes, so he's in like a coupe or sedan. Yeah. So he's in an Audi, and Hobbs, he's always driving big, beefy cars.
Mm-hmm.
So he's in, what's one of the cars he would drive? He's in like a big Ford Raptor.
A Raptor?
Yeah.
A Raptor.
Because I think, like The Rock actually owns a Raptor.
Okay.
So Ford Raptor, Hobbs versus Audi sedan transporter.
Doesn't make it easier. But
No.
I always give trucks a disadvantage in races, but they do have the advantage if there's an off road or anything.
Yeah.
So I'm giving it to the Audi driver.
So and you can change your answer if you want to. They have it's a race, not like on a track, like we're just driving.
It's
in
a race
circles.
to a point.
It's a race to a destination.
Ooh.
So how they get to the said destination, that's up to them. So they can follow streets, they can go off-roading, whatever they feel like is the fastest route from.
I think that actually solidifies my answer because we have the transporter and then we have some special agent.
Yes.
The transporter does this, gets from point A to point B.
Yeah.
So I think he'll win.
I agree. I think in this race/fight, even though it's not really a fight, I think the transporter wins definitely in round 1 with the cars. Now let's say they're trying to hunt somebody down and find them.
Okay.
Okay. They're both after the same bad guy.
Okay.
Who reaches the bad guy first?
The special agent, Luke Hobbs.
Luke Hobbs for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Because the transporter, Jason Statham's character, is good once he has the person.
When he has the person.
Because usually they come to him.
That's right.
So he's not used to going out and finding them. So I would definitely give this round to Luke Hobbs because he hunts people down for a living. Like that's his job.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, now we'll actually get to the actual fight portion where they don't have weapons usually anyways, but usually Hobbs has a gun or something. But hand-to-hand fighting in a cage, no cars, no weapons, just their skills. Who you got?
This is where it comes very close.
Yeah, I agree.
Because we have the muscle, we have the rock, but then we have the quick Jason Statham.
I think Jason Statham's character, the transporter, is a more technical, skilled fighter, but Luke Hobbs is massive.
Yeah,
like he's huge.
But that being said, the transporter is smart enough to and has overcome bigger enemies.
Yes,
and he's technical, so he can know precise things to disable or cripple or make it go the whole full 10 rounds.
Yeah.
I don't think either of them is giving up easily.
No.
And I don't necessarily know who would take the upper hand.
I personally, how I kind of envision this conflict going on is I feel like the transporter would win off of stamina. So the longer the fight goes, the better advantage or the advantage shifts towards the transporter. I think if the fight ends quickly, it's because of Luke Hobbs.
Yeah.
So I personally think the fight will not end quickly. So with that being said, I feel like the transporter would win because of an endurance battle.
Okay.
Because the problem with being big like that, the more you move around, the more energy you waste. So I think he's more elusive. He doesn't take any big shots. And 10 minutes in, like Luke Hobbs is gassed, and then he can start coming in and really kind of dismantling him like that. So I would take the transporter in an endurance battle.
Okay.
So
well, I'm going to use a dice and
Okay.
determine this because
All right, we're rolling the dice.
sometimes endurance doesn't show up.
No, I agree. So that's the thing. If it's not an endurance battle, it's because of Hobbs. He ends the fight too quick.
Okay, so for odds, it will
Okay.
be Hobbs. For
Okay. Odds are
evens, it will
Hobbs.
be the transporter.
Okay. What'd you roll?
I rolled a 2.
So
Transporter takes it.
transporter takes it. Sorry, Hobbs. I think he's a cool character.
In this instance, endurance plays out.
Endurance wins.
Yeah.
So I think Hobbs is an awesome character. Apparently, he's coming back in the new Fast and the Furious movie, even though him and Vin Diesel got into a real conflict.
Whoa, really?
Yeah. Yeah, they did not get along well on the
man.
last set that they were on. Like The Rock was calling them like candy asses and like sissies and non-professional.
For using stunt people or what?
Just not it's hard to tell because
Right.
a lot of stuff has shifted since that has happened. So a lot of people started dumping on Vin Diesel about it. And now a lot of people are like, well, maybe Vin was right. And, Dwayne was being the prima donna or something. I don't know. I was never there, so I can't make a judgment.
It's those acting types,
Yeah. So, but apparently he makes a scene in the end credits of the last Fast and the Furious movie. And apparently he's supposed to be making another comeback in the last one. I love the Fast and Furious franchise. I think it's great, but 10 of them.
Fast and Furious in space.
Yeah, exactly. I just think it's funny because I think I've talked about this before. It starts off with like robbery, like they're like hijacking cars, and now all of a sudden they're international spies with zero training. Like, okay, but whatever, it's fun, it's entertaining. But we both got the transporter winning 2-1, so that was good. But let us know what you think. Tell us your argument on how Hobbs would win.
That's right.
So, but moving on to our joke of the week. All right, this week's joke. It's more of like a statement.
Oh,
but
really?
Yeah. It's to the person that stole all the antidepressants. I hope you're happy. Yes. You got any jokes?
I do.
All right, what's your
it's
joke?
more of a word of wisdom, really.
Okay.
But a man who farts in church sits in his own pew.
Okay, sits in his own pew. that
It's
works
a Confucius
too.
saying.
Yeah, Confucius saying. Yeah, I've seen that meme where it's like you don't realize how you turn into a kung fu master when you see a spider or something, or you walk into a spider web. So, all right. But moving on to our shout outs. Anybody you want to shout out this week?
Shout out to everybody who's tested.
Yes.
Good job. Well done.
Shout out to the testers.
Maybe it's a lesson learned.
Yep. Hopefully we don't have any criers.
That's right.
Or any
If
injuries.
you do cry, stand back up and keep going.
Yes. And
if you did cry, hopefully you kept going.
Don't let anybody see you cry, especially on a test.
That's right.
So, yes, shout out to all the testers. Hopefully everything goes smoothly, goes well. It's going to be hot, so hopefully they hydrated. We had We had the big talk the other day about staying hydrated because it's supposed to be pretty warm and sweaty bodies do not mix well. So, but great job. Hopefully we see all brand new belts on everybody and we have a good experience with it. But moving on to our final thoughts, anything you want to leave the people with this week?
Final thoughts? No, we did the Tiny Tims, so
yes,
it's another monthly reminder that just do something for somebody else. I can't tell you what to do for somebody else. I don't think we can, but you'll know when it comes to you. And then it's not a matter of if you should do it, but when you should do it.
Yeah.
And usually the time is now.
I agree. Anytime you have the opportunity to enrich someone's life, man, I don't know how you should not take advantage of that. So
it could be a simple act of like doing something without being asked.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be this big grandeur gesture or anything. Like you said, it's like if you're a young kid, being like, "Hey, clean your room before your parents ask you,"
or look at the trash and like, "Oh, it's full." Before I'm asked, I'm just going to take it out.
Yeah, or just simple things that you see your parents do every day. do it for them before they ask you.
Yep.
You know, if you're an older child, so to speak, and your parents are still alive, go spend some time with them. I mean, you don't realize how much that means for adult children to spend time with their elderly parents. I know a lot of people that are much older than me and their parents are still alive and they hardly talk to them. And I just cannot wrap my head around that concept. It's like, I'm not saying you got to like talk to them every second, but at least like reaching out once a week. It's not very hard. It takes zero effort, especially if it's a phone call or a text. Simple, small gestures truly go a long way. So I agree. If you have the opportunity to enrich and make a positive impact on somebody, positive impacts are important. Just do it. Do it because it's the right thing to do, not because you're going to get something out of it. Mm-hmm. So if you're doing works for glorification, it's not where your heart's supposed to be.
Let someone else glorify you.
Yes. So we still need,
as Master Hong says, self-praise is no praise.
Self-praise is no praise. Exactly. So send us your cool things that you've been doing this week, and we'll shout you out and put it in our final thoughts. But thank you for spending the time with us this week, everybody. We're still working on the camera angles and everything. So
great.
Yeah, I think we're
so good.
I think it's going to be
every week.
Yeah, we're definitely changing it up and finding the right feel. So I'm excited for it. It's added a new wrinkle. So thank you for going on this journey with us. And again, make sure you like and share the show. We want to try to build better people, as many of them as we can.
Have some fun while we're doing it.
And the old camping saying, leave the campground better than when you found it. Same thing with your community and your environment. Leave it better than when you found it. Okay.
There we go.
But thanks again for joining us, everybody, and kick it with us next week.
Bye, everyone.